All right. Next question that Ladybug had was, how do you deal with leaving family, friends, and society? The society part, that's an easy answer. That's not hard at all.
Yeah.
We were done with society and keeping up with the Joneses and that kind of lifestyle. But leaving our family and our friends, that was hard on me. Our boys.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, my 3 boys live in Reno.
My son lives in Colfax or thereabouts.
Yeah, so we were able to see them once in a while, you know. My boys would show up at work once in a while, and we'd go out to lunch, and, you know, and now, you know, what are the chances of us actually seeing each other?
Yeah. My son would pop up every once in a while and break into the house.
break into the house and turn all the furniture around.
Rearrange the furniture. Put cellophane over the toilet seats. Take everything out of the pantry and put it in the fridge.
Yeah, so leaving our boys was hard. The rest of our family and close friends, they understood why we wanted to do this. They understood that. Did they want to see us leave? No. You know, do I miss hanging out with our friends? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got to think about ourselves now. This is our way of being able to hopefully retire.
Yeah.
You're retired.
Well,
kind of.
I'm not really retired. I'm just not working.
All right, so the next question is, what is the reality of what it's like in the beginning of your journey? Yeah. We arrived in Idaho and stayed on our friend's property.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God for that. Because we truly, before they offered to let us do that, we had no idea where we were going to end up. I was having a hard time finding RV sites that was within our budget. We didn't want to waste all of our money.
Yeah.
In an RV park, you know.
Yeah. In campgrounds.
In campgrounds. So we were trying to find a place that was free but safe, to where we could unhook the travel trailer and take off in the truck to go find our property. But
yeah, I was to the point where it was going to be Hotel Walmart.
Yeah.
Really, that's.
And then you're thinking, is it safe to leave your travel trailer there?
Right.
You know. So yeah, them offering to let us stay on their property, that was a huge blessing.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. So we started immediately looking for our property about a week and a half, and our frustration was growing. I think more Stuart. I was trying to stay positive. Something's going to come up. Something's going to come up. But yeah, it was frustrating because you want to find your property now.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know that's my thing. Is we got a very short time to do it because we have to get ready for winter. You know, so.
And we were already behind.
Yeah, so we're just shooting into the wind, looking for stuff, and nothing is really panning out. There was a couple properties that I liked. Tony was like, "Yeah, that's not going to work. We're not going to be able to make this work, you know." But we just kind of endured, put those on the back burner, and we were heading over to
our office.
Our office at Safeway.
Starbucks.
Anybody that knows us, Starbucks. 16 times a day. No, I'm just kidding. And we were going over there to line out some properties to go south of where we are, southwest, or west of where we are.
Well, let me say something real quick.
Go ahead,
so they understand we weren't going to Starbucks just to go to Starbucks and look stuff up. We actually had to, because the property we were staying on, no cell phone service whatsoever, no internet at all. So we had to go into town.
Yeah, what you said.
To our office.
Correct.
Okay, continue on.
And so I was so frustrated at a point I was willing to take a 2 or 3 acre lot. I was down to looking at 5 acre lots. And you know, our minimum, we really wanted 10 acres. So I'm looking at all these small lots, and Tony pulled up the property that we're at now, which was out of our price range. And we had already upped our price range, but it was still out of our price range. And
because it was property that Stuart had actually been intrigued with this property, saw it online a few times, kept on popping up in our searches, and it was really intriguing, but we never really seriously entertained it because it was out of our price range.
So it just kind of went by the wayside. And one day, sitting at our Safeway office with Starbucks, Tony was like, "Let's just go look at it. Let's just go look at it. You know, we'll just see what it's like. You know, it'll give us something to do for the morning. Maybe take the edge off a little bit. You know, help us regroup." And here we are. We drove up the road and
walked up the driveway,
and we were like, "Oh my God, this is it." But it was out of our price range. Oh crap, what do we do? You know, and we even upped our price range again to get this property.
But we had negotiating power because it had been on the market for 303 days. So, you know, in looking for your property, that's definitely something to consider. If something's been on the market for that long, first you got to ask yourself why. Well, we kind of know why. This is really remote up where we're at. We're only about 4 miles from pavement. But it is hard to get up here, and there are a couple properties that are for sale up here, and most people get halfway up our road, they turn around and go back.
Yeah.
They don't even want
it's
to.
Too far.
Yeah, it's too hard for them to get up here, and which brings us to another good point is when you're looking for property, there is no perfect property. You need to be willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like our big fail or our big flaw on our property is our driveway, which hopefully within time.
Well, that and no flat space. We're on the side of a mountain, so there's no flat space.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of flat space, but it was still doable.
Yeah. It
was definitely still doable. The driveway, though, that's a huge obstacle. Okay, so looking for the property, it's what are you willing to sacrifice? You're not going to be able to find the perfect piece of property. You just there's always going to be something wrong. So you need to sacrifice, overcome, adapt. And that's not just looking for property. That's for this lifestyle period.
Yeah. You know, and I think if you're looking for a property, one thing you need to do, you need to write down your must-haves and your wants. Right? So for us, our must-haves were trees, rocks, water, cell phone service.
Yep. Because I have to work from home.
Yeah. So she needs a cell phone to work from home. And then trees, rocks, and water. Like that. And we got the trees, rocks, water, and cell phone service. We didn't get next to Forest Service land. We didn't get full southern exposure. We didn't get
a lot of flat
area. We didn't get all the wildlife that we wanted. Me personally, I wanted the whole experience. I wanted lions, tigers, and bears. I wanted the whole 9 yards. But you know what? We got coyotes, deer, moose, and elk. I'm happy with that.
So, our plan was, after we secured the property, we were going to be living in our travel trailer.
Yes.
And it was taking too long, so we started working on the property. Stuart had rented an excavator. Backhoe, sorry. And started the new access driveway to the pad for the new cabin. And it was just taking too long. We were getting up in the morning, driving from our friend's property to here, which is about an hour away. I'd say hour-ish.
No, probably. Yeah, maybe an hour, because it takes 40 minutes to get up to the crossroad.
Yeah. Yeah, so about an hour away. So, you know, we're driving an hour here and then working as hard as we can, as long as we could, and then going back home. So we decided that we needed to get the travel trailer up here now and be here full time. We had everything in the travel trailer. We, you know, propane, blah, 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 solar. So, and we did this kind of like, it was a knee-jerk reaction. It really was. It was
really
like
was.
Spontaneously, we were just like, okay, we need to be here full time. So we were only up here like maybe, I think, half the day when we decided, let's go get the travel trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we drove, hooked up to the travel trailer, and I'm inside and packing everything up that, you know, we didn't want spilling all over or breaking or whatever.
I'm outside getting everything taken care of.
Yeah, and you're buckling everything up outside, and
hour later, we were on the way.
yeah, an hour later, we started pulling the travel trailer here. And we get up the road fine. Stuart gets it up the road fine. And we get to the driveway.
Oh, our driveway.
Stuck.
There's where the saga of the driveway begins.
And that video is also on our channel, so please go check that out. So I walked up to the neighbors. I'd only met her one time. Really didn't know exactly where she lived, so I just walked up the road and found her property. and that's one thing you don't want to do up here, is go walking onto somebody's property if they don't know you're coming. And they really don't know you, you know. You don't, you know, that's not the way they do it up here. So,
but they're a real nice couple.
Yeah, they're a real cool nice couple. I had told her what happened, and she said her husband, you know, would be getting off work at whatever time, and she called him to let him know that their new neighbors need help. Yeah. So he got off work and got his mud truck and brought that down.
Yeah.
Hooked that up to the travel trailer.
Got stuck.
So then he's like, okay. So he goes back home and he gets his dozer. Brings that down. Hooks that up to his mud truck. So he's got the dozer hooked up to the mud truck hooked up to the travel trailer.
Yeah, and it's an old school dozer. You know, I can't remember what year he said, 1940 something, early 50s, something like that. Allison Chalmers. You know, so it's an older dozer. But yeah, that got stuck, and the reason it got stuck is whoever put the driveway in left about between 4 and 6 inches of rock, loose rock on the driveway, and didn't pack it down, didn't put I guess a top coat over it, you know, a road base over it to make it a flat, hard surface. And the dozer was spinning its tracks on that rock. You know, this is 2 to 3 inch rock.
And and what time was it? It was dark.
It was like 10.
Probably about, yeah.
I think it was 10, and because we only worked till like 11, because he had to get up at 4 and be to work the next day.
So, yeah, we had all 3 stuck on the driveway for 5 days.
And the Ford was broken down.
And the Ford,
blew a seal in the transmission.
Blew a seal in the transmission when he was trying to pull the travel trailer up. So we ended up, actually our first night on the property was sleeping in the truck at the bottom of the driveway.
Yeah.
That was our first night on
awesome.
the property. And then 5 days later, the neighbor was like, all right, let's give this a go again. And he unhooked the dozer and scooped some of the rock off, hooked back up to the mud truck.
And away we went.
All 3 of them were pulling up the driveway.
Yep, away we went.
And so while that was all sitting there, we had decided to set up camp in the scary cabin. But we had to make it safe for our little animals, our 4-legged family members.
And us.
And us. I mean, there was, you know, signs of rat poop, and there was empty boxes of rat poison, and I mean, there was just, it was gross. So we had to clean it up the best we could with bleach water on plywood floor.
Yeah.
That was really hard to do. It's not something you can just mop. You know, I was on my hands and knees and trying to clean this floor with bleach water to sanitize it as best as you can. I mean,
It
something
was kinda,
drops on the floor now, we don't pick it up and
yeah, there's no 5-second rule.
no.
I've done the 2-second rule, but Tony gets all freaked out at me.
So, but it ended up being a kind of a blessing in disguise, because if we would have stayed in the travel trailer, we would have been spending money on propane for heat. You know, during the winter, that probably would have cost us quite a bit in
Cost a lot of
propane
money.
just to keep us warm in the wintertime in there. The Scary Cabin has the wood stove. It came with a 1,000-gallon propane tank that was
90% full.
Thank you. 90%. I was going to say 3/4 again. 90% full. So, and it had the propane refrigerator. It's got a propane cook stove. So it just made sense to stay in there. And we had all this firewood already that the previous owner had left. We were okay. It was a blessing in disguise that we didn't set up camp in the travel trailer and spend more money on propane. Yep. All right, so, yeah, overcoming, adapting, which is exactly what we did with the driveway situation, right? So, depending on your area, you need to be prepared, and you definitely need to be prepared what I'm trying to say is, are you ready for the expected and the unexpected? Because the unexpected is going to happen quite often.
Yep. Murphy, he's always there for you.
Are you in an area with lots of snow? Are you in an area prone to drought? What is your environment like? What are you willing to sacrifice? I know I keep going back to sacrifice, but it's a big thing in this lifestyle.
Yeah.
You have to be able to sacrifice.
How far away is your job if you're going to work? Are you able to work from home? Do you have a long commute to your job? How far away are you willing to live from your job? You know, stuff like that really needs to be taken into consideration. I think our situation is quite unique that we don't have to worry about that. Not yet. I mean, one day I'm going to go back to work. But I'm just going to get a part-time job, you know, 2, 3, 4 days a week, whatever happens. But, you know, right now I don't need to, because Tony's pretty awesome, and she says I don't have to work right now.
All right, so I think this might be the last question. What do you need, and how do you find the things you need for off-grid? So, okay, so of course the basics: food, shelter, water is what you need to survive, but we didn't want to just survive, we wanted to thrive, right? So we started buying some of the things that we could while we were both still working.
Because, you know, we knew once we went down to one income, there's no way we're going to be able to afford some of those big ticket items. We could.
But it would take a lot longer.
But it's going to take a lot longer. So while we were making good money with 2 incomes and debt-free, with the exception of a mortgage, we were able to buy those big ticket items. And for us, being debt-free was key.
So some of the stuff that we bought before we even sold the house was, of course, the generator. We got some Berkey filters. Stuart made a homemade Berkey filter system.
Thanks, Boss of the Swamp.
The Boss of the Swamp, yep. Go to his channel. He's got a lot of great information on how-tos as far as off-grid living. Awesome, awesome channel. Some more tools, axes. You need axes off-grid.
Splitting axes, chopping axes, whatever, you know.
Canning jars, another canner. Doing that much canning, just having one canner. I was really thankful that we had 2 canners last winter.
Yeah, buddy.
That was nice. We were able to pop, really get that stuff going. First aid supplies. We actually have quite a bit in our first aid kit. Sutures.
Scalpels, scissors,
Scalpels.
clamps.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's really important.
Yep.
especially when, yeah, an ambulance isn't going to be able to, I mean,
There's
during the
no
winter,
way.
there's no way they're going to be able to make it up here.
There's
So
no
you
way
need to
an
be able
ambulance,
to
yeah.
temporarily fix yourself or whatever until you can get down, and hopefully you don't die.
That's good to say, everybody. Yeah,
Just kidding.
hopefully you don't die, people.
Be careful when you're off grid. Don't hurt yourself. Yeah, and cast iron cookware.
Yeah, you know, and we started changing that out like 2 years before, just buying a piece here or there.
Yeah.
You know, because we wanted to switch to cast iron anyway and get rid of all the Teflon garbage and,
Yep.
you know,
Plus all the
stuff
little
like
stuff. All the little stuff that you had been hoarding.
Yeah.
Fencing, hog panels, T-post, wooden T-post.
Wooden T-posts
Or wooden and T-fence post.
Yeah.
And the travel trailer.
Travel trailer. Yeah, forgot that one. That was a biggie back then.
Alright, so we'll kind of wrap this up because I don't know how long this is.
Yeah, this probably end up being 3 parts now.
It just might be. Who knows? It definitely is going to be a 2-parter, possibly 3 now, because there are some other questions that other people had asked on Facebook. So we're going to answer those questions too. But please,
Goose, leave it.
If you're considering going off grid, just make sure you do your research and ask yourself, can I or can we do this? And be honest with yourself and be honest with your spouse.
Goose, that's mine.
And subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Leave us a comment. If you have more questions, ask
them.
us.
We'll be honest with you. We have no reason to lie.
Yeah, we've been off grid for a year now.
I may BS you a little bit, but I'm not going to lie.
We've been off grid a year now, and no, we haven't experienced everything that there is to offer.
Yeah, and we're not the end to beat all either. We're just as new as many other people moving forward in this journey. And some people, even though they're just getting started, they're more experienced than us. But you know what? We want to hear the stories.
Yeah.
That's what I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I like to hear the stories.
I like to hear other people's stories on what their journey was like and how they're doing and
the what ifs and what nots and wheres and whens and everything.
Yeah. So please give us a thumbs up. If you have a question, please ask. Comments and subscribe.
And don't
share our video.
You guys look at me right here. Don't forget to say hi to Goose.
Yes, don't forget to say hi to Goose.
Is that it?
That's it. Thank you.
See ya.